So now our story is about an extremely well-traveled teenager. You tell me, Mister, I don't understand the title of this story. I tell you, wait, we are gonna start from the last word, teenager. So now we are gonna make a difference between two words. So please focus with me. Here, can you see these two pictures? Teenager and adult. Teenager is a person who is between 13 and 18 years old. It's called teenager. And adult is a person who is over 18 years old. From 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, over, it's called adult. So now let's go back to our story. So this is the meaning of teenager. And well-traveled means he traveled a lot. He traveled to many places, so he is well-traveled. And the last one, extremely. In the English language, English speakers don't say very, very. They say extremely. So extremely means very, very. So we can say that this story is about a teenager who traveled a lot. And we can summarize it in a title called An Extremely Well-Traveled Teenager. So now let's read our introduction. And now, Jared Thomas is only 15, but he's traveled, and apostrophe S here has traveled. He's traveled more than most adults. He's already been to 3 continents. You tell me, Master, stop. I know the meaning of continents. So let's open now again the picture to see the meaning of continent. On the Earth planet, we have 7 continents. So they are North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia. So now we live in Africa continent. So this is the meaning of continent. So let's go back again. And more than 20 different countries. I'll give you some surprise questions. And now, what is the first surprise question? Let's see it. So now it's, why is Jared Thomas is an extremely well-traveled teenager? Because he has already been to 3 continents and more than 20 different countries. So after that, we are gonna now take part 1. Where is part 1? It's this passage. Okay, so this is part 1. Before starting in part 1, I'm gonna give you some information about it. So here, can you see this? Part 1. If we give a title for part 1, it will be changes in his life when he was 6. So let's see what changes happened in his life when he was 6 years old. So let's start reading now. In fact, do you remember, if I want to speak about something true, I start speaking with in fact or actually. In fact, I started traveling abroad at a really early age. This means when I was young. My mother lives in Paris, France, while my father lives in London, and they separated. What is the meaning of separated? If we look at the picture, this means separated means stopped living with one another. So after that, when I was 6, so his mother and father separated when he was 6. So here I live with my mother, but I have spent at least 1 weekend a month with my father in London since I was 6. We use at least to speak about the fewest number you do an action. For example, I play tennis at least 2 times a week. The fewest numbers of times I do this action is 2. 2 times a week, so I used at least. So here he lives with his mother, and at least one weekend every month he visits his father, but in London. The second paragraph. So here it's the second part, and if you wanna give a title for the second part, will be the beginning of traveling unaccompanied, means alone. So here let's start reading the beginning of his traveling alone. He says here, I went on my first trip on my own when I was 7. Before that, I used to travel between Paris to London with my mother or father. So here, what is the meaning of used to? We use used to plus an infinitive verb like travel to speak about a habit or repeated action happened in the past. After that, then my mom found out about. Found out about means discovered. My mom found out about a British Airways service called Skyflyer Solo. So let's see it in our picture. So here, Airways service. It's a company that has an office. You call it to book a ticket for a flight. This company has 2 teams of employees. Team number 1 is called the ground staff. Ground staff, they work inside the company and inside the airport. Team number 2, so it's cabin crew. Cabin crew, they work on an airplane. So here, or a plane. This is a picture for the ground staff, and this is a picture for the cabin crew. So let's go back again. So here, let's read it again. Then my mom found out about a British Airways service called Skyflyer Solo, and from here he started to travel alone, which makes sure that unaccompanied children get to their destination safely. So what is the meaning of destination? Destination is the place that you travel to, is your destination. Looked after by the ground staff. So who will look after this child or this teenager? Yes, the ground staff in the airport. And when he go on the plane, the cabin crew will look after him. My mom would take me to the airport in Paris and hand me over to the ground staff. Hand over means deliver. Deliver me to the ground staff. But let's think, where is he going to travel? Yes, he is going to travel to London to visit his dad. This means he is now in school days or in summer. Yes, he is still in school days, and this is only a weekend. So here, whenever I arrived, the ground staff in London looked after me until I met my father. Whenever means every time. Every time I arrived, the ground staff take me and look after me until I see my father. I didn't used to like it at first. This means he didn't love it, or he didn't like being alone at the beginning. Even though they were all very kind to me, all the ground staff and the cabin crew were very kind to him, but at the beginning he didn't used to like it. After that, but I soon got used to it. Soon here means after a short time. So after a short time, he started to like it. He started to travel unaccompanied or alone. After that, I now get on with all of the airport staff. What is the meaning of get on? Well, in your first day at school, you don't know your classmates well because it's your first day. But after a week and 2 weeks, you get on well with them and they become your friends. Okay? This means get on well, have a friendship, or make friends. So here, and I know them all by their first names. When I see their first name, I know them. Why? Because we became friends. After that, but it's not just between London and Paris that I travel. This means he traveled to other places, and this is for part 3. But before starting in part 3, let's give you a surprising question. So please focus well with me. So the surprising question in part 2 is, how could he travel unaccompanied? Yes, you are right. He traveled unaccompanied when his mom found out about a British Airways service called Skyflyer Solo. So now let's start in the third part. The third part, if we give a title for the third part, it will be traveling with mom and dad in summer. So now we are gonna move to his travels, but not on school days in summer. So now let's start. In summer, both of my parents like to travel abroad. And if you remember, abroad means you go to another country. So here they like in summer to travel abroad, and they always take me with them. So I spend 2 or 3 weeks with my father in a beach resort and another fortnight with my mother. What is the meaning of fortnight? Fortnight means 2 weeks or 15 days. So in summer, he does what? He spends 2 or 3 weeks with his father in a beach resort and 15 days or 2 weeks with his mother, who prefers what she calls a culture holiday. His mother tells him that in summer, our holiday is not only for fun, it's for fun and for learning new things about new places. So it's called culture holiday. So now let's go back again to the definition. The definition of cultural holiday is a holiday that you spend not only for fun, but also for learning more about other countries or places. So now let's see the places that he goes to with his mother. So now here, it's with her that I have traveled. This means I have traveled with her to most European capitals, like Cairo is the capital of Egypt and London is the capital of England. So which places do they go? Which is called a culture holiday? Yes, these places are most European capitals, as well as means also or plus, as well as New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. But New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco aren't capitals. They are cities in the United States, America. So now here, let's have a surprising question for part 3. The surprising question for you is, where does he go in summer holidays? Yes, he spends 2 or 3 weeks with his father in a beach resort and another fortnight with his mother traveling to European capitals as well as New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco in the United States. So let's go back again to part 4. So part 4 in our story, if we want to give a title for part 4, it will be a story about the most exciting of his travels. Now he will tell you a story about the most exciting thing in his travels. In this part, we are going to speak about 2 places. The first place is Prague. Prague is the capital of Czech, and Czech is a country in Europe. Can you see here Germany and France? This is Europe country. This is Europe continent, and Czech is a country, and the capital of Czech is Prague. This is the first place. The second place that we are gonna talk about is the Yangtze River in China. So now let's go back again to our part. In part 4. The most exciting of all my travels was last summer. What is this most exciting? Let's see. Here I was just back from a holiday in Prague with my mother and was expecting to leave for the Greek islands. So what happened? Did he go actually to the Greek islands or something changed? Let's see. With my dad a few days later. So he was going to the Greek islands with his dad, but something happened. What did they think? Actually, I was shopping for a new swim suit. Why? To dive the water. When my dad called me on my mobile phone and asked if I would like to go to China with them, I almost dropped the phone because he was very surprised. China was the place I most wanted to go. And here in the last paragraph, we are gonna see the places that they went on China. A week later, my dad and I were sailing down the Yangtze River. Do you remember? Everything looked so exciting. And exciting means, yes, strange. Everything there was strange, exciting, compared to the places we usually visit. We stayed in China for 3 weeks, but I didn't think it was enough. This means he liked to stay more. And even though for the first time in many years I didn't get to swim at all. This means he didn't go to swim in this weekend, but he liked this weekend or holiday. Why? Because this time this place was very fascinating and interesting. After that, I really didn't mind. I really didn't mind means I didn't say no. I accepted it. I really didn't mind. I'd like to go back to China every year. You know why? Because he went to this exciting place, strange and fascinating place. So I recommend you to try to visit this place and next summer holiday. I hope that you have understood everything in this exciting story. And now let's go on our summarize for some small points. Number 1, his parents separated. Do you remember? when he was 6 and he lived with his mother in Paris. He sometimes visits his father on weekends. Number 2. He went on his first trip alone when his mother found out about a British Airways service called Sky Solo. Number 3. In summer holidays, he spends 2 or 3 weeks with his father in a beach resort and another fortnight with his mother traveling to most European capitals as well as New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. The last point. The most exciting travel for him was in China, where he and his dad were sailing down the Yangtze River. And thank you. See you in Unit 3. Bye.